So listen, I saw that hotel is being sued for some construction fraud while he's out cheesing and posing with his baby mama at, some things for Alabama and football and whatever. But listen, I wanted to pose the question and I want to ask you guys because when I was listening to the commentary by the woman who has revealed that he has been alleged to have knowingly taking a couple's money to build a home, over $200,000 to build a home. And he knew that he was going to file for bankruptcy, and two, apparently the job wasn't even done, but two, legally it wasn't even something that he could do because he doesn't have a builder's license. Why is this man free? Why is he not behind bars? Now, we know Melody pressed charges against him and he got a suspended sentence and he's appealing that. And I'm hopeful that because he had the audacity to appeal that decision, that they will just go ahead and lock him up. But hearing what he has done, and also there was another couple that we have learned, the blogger Pinky, the housewife, she put that information out before too, that there was another couple that paid him over $60,000 to build an addition to their home. And then he did the bankruptcy thing. Isn't that bankruptcy fraud? You knew that this was what you were going to do, but you still took these people's money and they didn't get what they were supposed to get. And then you're just out here trying to live your life. That to me seems criminal. And I guess right now they're just trying to start it in the civil way, but maybe it'll be not trying to compare the situation to Cassie and Diddy, but we know Cassie filed a civil lawsuit against him and now Diddy is behind bars. Maybe this will spark things so that it'll eventually get to the place where they will investigate and file criminal charges, albeit it will be state charges, I'm assuming, but I don't know, because I don't know a whole lot about bankruptcy law and bankruptcy fraud. But I do know that if someone is, like, we've seen the stories, there haven't been many of them, but if someone is posing as someone who works in the medical field and they didn't even do any like real medical work or any real medical procedures on someone, but they're just posing as a doctor, going in, acting as if they're a licensed medical provider, and then they wind up getting locked up. I feel like it should be the same for this construction fraud because you have to have a medical license in order to practice medicine, and the same goes for construction. And we know that he has never had a builder's license. He was always being propped up and utilizing someone else's license in order to operate. What he was operating, God only knows, because to me, it doesn't even seem like he was able to lift a brick, let alone build a home. When he was in a marriage with Melody, it's, now that I'm looking back over these old episodes, it really just looks like she was absolutely doing everything. And all he was doing was posing, putting on the suits, putting on the clothes, driving around, acting like you're going to Home Depot. But really, you are depositing your ding-a-ling in this dingbat. And now here she is, to this day, still hanging on for dear life to this fool and posing up with him at a game like he's a prize. It's embarrassing. And before you know it, this chick is going to be 45 years old and still holding on to this clown. There's nothing there. You had a child with him. And the fact that you still want to act like you're a one-woman man when the one man was someone else's husband, her life is never going to work out for her. And she's trying her best to make it look like it is. So posing up, smiling, looking so happy. I just was disgusted by it. I know that Melody is no longer with him and she dumped him, in a hefty bag to the curb and allowed Arion to come and pick up the trash, and she just was happy to do it. But it still to me is extremely disrespectful, especially in light of all of the things that Melody has still dealt with over the years after she let him go. That chick being disrespectful to her on social media, doing these lives, calling her names and talking about how Martell's tongue was cleaning her butt crack all the time and he was the best at it. And that's why I call him Arion's baby white, because it's like something that she was bragging about. Who cares? The dog knows how to lick its tongue. Yeah, dogs do that. But to hear that, I mean, to me, he just sounds like a criminal. How could you take these people money? And it's sad because I'm quite sure that those people who worked with him or attempted to work with him probably never watched that show, but heard of it, and he presented himself to them in a way to make it seem like he had more than what he was able to offer them. And they went off of the strength of that and trying to give business to a black man who's local, who's on TV. So, he's presenting himself in a way to make it seem like he's reputable, credible, he can do the job. He's built so many other homes before, and he really didn't ever do anything. His name was just on the business, but he was using Melody's builder's license. How dare you? And then to hear that these people had a VA loan and they got fully funded, over $200,000, and gave him all of that money. I'm highly offended. I'm highly offended. Myself being a spouse of a veteran, and knowing how hard it is to go through the process to buy a home, and these people, gave him money. They entrusted him to do a job for them, and he pretty much just took their money and ran with it, and that money's gone. He doesn't have that money anymore. And to file for bankruptcy protection and have all the debts wiped out, and he's just going around town just giggling and happy and cheesing and taking his baby mama to Chipotle and Chick-fil-A and to the casino and to the game. And I'm just so highly offended and disgusted by all of it. So when I heard this, and it's a long video, I have the link to it in the description, but to listen to all of that, I was like, why is this man not in jail? If I were them, I would see if I could press criminal charges, not just suing him in civil court, bankruptcy fraud or whatever, it is, but I would see if I could pursue criminal charges too, because to me, him operating in that way, and legally he wasn't supposed to be doing that, it sounds like that is a chargeable offense that he could be prosecuted for criminally, and he needs to be. So the nerve of this thief to do that to these people, and I'm quite sure they were black, and that angers me even more. I'm not saying it's okay to do it to anybody, but yeah, of course he would do it to somebody who was black, right? First of all, he would never get away with doing something like that to white people or any other ethnicity. So of course he's going to do it to the skin folk that ain't his kinfolk. He ain't they kinfolk, I should say, because he doesn't care. The grift with people like this that do stuff like this to those of us who are in the African American black community, when we already are fighting, scratching, and surviving to try to have something, to try to build generational wealth, and for him to rob them of that, he needs to be charged for that. I have no patience for that whatsoever, and I really am going to continue to follow this and see what happens with this, because he needs to have charges pressed against him. You can't operate in the medical field and you're not licensed to do so. They can press charges against you, and many people have had that happen to them. And it shouldn't be any different when it comes to this, because operating and not having a builder's license, we've seen him on the show, could never pass the test. He was able to operate under Melody's builder's license when they were a couple. And then when she absolved herself from him, she dissolved herself from that name. And I'm so glad that she did. And she probably knew. I'm not saying she knew about that, but she probably knew that it would be best to rid herself of that name, because of who he is, he probably would get himself involved in some stuff and then try to put it on her. But it was well after she was out of the relationship. She's changed her name. She's moved on. She actually has a builder's license. She never did any work with any of those people, never engaged in any type of partnership or business relationship or contracts or anything of the sort. So it's all on him. And that's probably the main reason why he was mad that she decided to change her last name. It wasn't about, I gave her that name and she wouldn't have been nothing without that name. The devil is a liar, because that name, she brought honor to it. It wasn't that he gave her honor by making her an honest woman by marrying her and giving her that last name. No, she brought honor to that name. When she left and she rid herself of that name, he is the trash bag that he is. And the Holt name that he has, which, you know, the children still have, unfortunately, I will say. Who knows? Maybe they might be like some of R. Kelly's kids when they get older and change their name. But this is criminal. He really needs to have charges pressed against him. And I'm hopeful that that is in progress, because he doesn't deserve to be free living his life when he took those people's dreams of adding an addition to their home, of having a new home built. And he took their money and ran. It's crazy. I don't know. That's probably how he was able to pay for the plastic surgery that he had around his eyes and whatever else he had, you know, been able to pay for. But I am disgusted by this, and I really hope that he gets his just due in the justice system with what he did to those people. He does not deserve to walk free while these people, I'm sure every moment they are awake, they are angry. Every time they look at their bank accounts, every time they go to the lot that they were supposed to build that home on, or see the area that they were supposed to have the addition built onto their home, and they already paid this fool their money, and now they can't get it done by somebody else until they get the money to get it right. It's not right. So you all let me know what you think. I have the link to the video in the description box. I will say it is a little bit long, and she starts getting into it around the 54 minute mark. So you can fast forward to that. But again, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And I really appreciate you spending a little time with me. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.